This video covers the spring final exam review day 2, pages 1 through 3. So this is the first 3 pages of review day 2. If you need pages 4 through 7, then that's a separate video. So today, or on this part, we're talking about square roots. So remember, your square root function starts here, looks like a soccer ball being kicked, and follows the pattern 1, 1, 3, 1. So that's your normal. So problem 1, my vertex is the opposite of what's under the square root with x. There's nothing else under the square root with x, so that's just a 0. The same as what follows. Because I have a negative in front, there will be a maximum. My domain is always going to be greater than x from my x, and then range varies based on maximum or minimum. This one is a maximum, so my range is going less than. So I go to 0, 2 to start. This has a negative 3 in front, so every other number in my pattern is going to be multiplied by negative 3. So we normally have 1, 1, 3, 1. So every other number is multiplied by negative 3. So I go right 1, down 3, right 3, down 3. Problem 2, my vertex is the opposite of what's inside with x, the same as what follows. I will have a minimum on this one, so x is always greater than. Range will also be greater than, because this one is doesn't have a reflect in front. My pattern is 1, 1, 3, 1. Every other number gets multiplied by 1/2. So I go right 1, down half, right 3, down half, and this one is clearly smushed. Problem 3, my vertex is 4, 0, opposite of what's inside with x, the same as what follows. This one will have a maximum because there's a reflect in front. Domain is greater than, range therefore will be less than because of the maximum. Normal pattern, every other number is multiplied by negative 2. So I go to 4, 0. I go right 1, down 2. Right 3, down 2 is off the page, but you can still kind of see what's going to happen. And problem 4, my vertex is 3, 0. There's going to be a minimum because there's no reflect in front. Domain is greater than 3. Range will also be greater than because it's a minimum. So 3, 0, and I follow my normal pattern, of... So sorry, I just realized problem 2 is not reflected. I apologize. So 1, 1, 3, 1, because there's no reflect. If there's no reflect, it goes up. So sorry. So problem 4, yeah, right 1, up 1, right 3, up 1. So that follows a normal pattern. No, it does not. This is why you shouldn't do math after eating brownies. Just kidding. So sorry. This has a 3 in front. I'm going to get it together. So every other number is multiplied by 3. So I go right 1, up 3, right 3, up 3. As you can tell, square roots are not my favorite. All right, so still using square roots, complete the following transformations. It's going to stretch by 3 and go down 2, meaning there's no left or right, so nothing under the square root. Make sure you're very careful about how you write these, because if you write it too far and then you go down 2, that's technically a right. So make sure you're really watching. So my vertex, we're not going anywhere left or right, going down 2. This is going to have a minimum because there's no there's no negative in front to make it a maximum. Domain is greater, so and range will also be greater because we have a minimum. So I go down to negative 2. Every other number in my normal pattern, 1, 1, 3, 1, is multiplied by 2, 3, 3. I was right. So I go right 1, up 3, right 3, up 3, and that's my graph. Problem 6, we go up 2 and right 4. There's nothing in front, so I just go ahead and get started. Vertex is a positive 4, positive 2. This will have a minimum because there's no negative. Domain is greater and range will also be greater. So I go to 4, 2 and follow my 1, 1, 3, 1 pattern because there's no numbers in front and I double checked. Problem 7, we reflect. We stretch by a factor of 1/2. Left 1 is under the square root, up 2 is after the square root. Vertex is the opposite of what's inside with x, the same as what follows. This one will have a maximum because the negative in front reflects. My domain is always greater than, but my range for this one will be less than because range still depends on max or min. So I start at -1, 2. Every other number in my pattern is multiplied by -1/2, so I go right 1 down 1/2, right 3 down 1/2, and draw my picture. Page 3, we're still using that square root of x, so this vertex goes left 4, down 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, so there is no stretch, and this is positive. So my function, it goes to the left, so I need a +4 under the square root, and down 2 needs a -2. My vertex is the opposite, the same. This will have a minimum because there's no negative. Domain will be greater. Range will also be greater. Make sure once you've filled this out that you double check with your picture. We did have a minimum because my starting point was lower than the rest of my graph. My domain is everything to the right and my range is getting higher. Problem 9, my starting point went to the right 3 and down 2. I go 1, 1, 3, 1, so there is no stretch, but there is a negative that made it reflect. So negative out front, to go to the right is a -3 under the square root, down 2 is -2 outside. Vertex is opposite, same. This one has a maximum because the negative sign. Domain is always greater, this time range will be less than. And problem 10, my starting point went left 3, down 1. This, instead of going 1, 1, we go 1, 2, 3, 2. So my stretch factor was a 2. But thankfully it is positive. So I put a 2 in front. Left is plus under the square root. Down is minus after the square root. Vertex is opposite, same. This one has a minimum because it's not being reflected. Domain is greater. Range is also greater because there was a minimum.